So, hey, what's up, everybody? This is Deanna Chica, and you are listening to Verbal Shenanigans.
But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really. Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Verbal Shenanigans podcast. Mike, I'm excited for listeners to hear part 2 of the 3-hour wrestling game show. Little did they know. You know how wrestling's always got a surprise, and now WrestleMania is 2 nights. We're doing Verbamania tonight, night 2, 3 hours long.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil anything, but nobody's dead from the main event of WrestleMania 37. All right. That's the only one I'm giving you, people. You got to wait to the end if you want the rest. You hear me?
If you tuned in last week,
God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you if you made it all the way to the end. We promise there'll be no wrestling chat here this week. We're going to ban wrestling chat since we gave you just about 3 hours worth of it. But Mike, I'm practicing forgiveness.
Are you? Well, I mean, you're off to a good start. You actually showed up this week. You declared you were done after you lost last week.
That is true. I did say that I may not be coming back, and that you and Harry would, keep this podcast going on your own. You talk about freaking 92 Undertaker highlights or whatever you do week to week, and but yeah, Mike. Let's talk about last week a little bit.
Okay. What's up, buddy?
Well, let's see. You, for those of you who are just tuning in, you might have to go back to last week to kind of realize what the hell we're talking about here. But Mike,
we're in an awkward situation where like you may not want to, but at the same time, it's like we're going to be talking about it. So the big Easter weekend and all. Just pull it out during dinner and all. Take your time. Let that ham simmer.
Simmering ham. How do you cook your ham?
Well, I just leave it out and then I let the sun take care of it, like my tea. That's how it's done, baby.
Burloo's sun-baked ham.
It's almost ready. There's only a couple hundred flies on it right now.
True or false? That's part of the reason you relocated to Georgia, for the stronger sun to cook the ham a little quicker than here in Jersey.
That's the thing, Scott. I lived in Jersey for many years. Mm-hmm. I leave the damn ham on the windowsill. And it's still cold and cloudy up in Jersey. I'm like, this isn't celebrating the return of Christ. Let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen. So I went down to Georgia and I'm like, well, what's the temperature like around Easter? They're like, well, it can get up to 80, 85. I'm like, that sounds like some good Easter ham to me.
So give us a little insight on how you, how many days prior are you doing the ham? Or is it more of a, whatever happens on Easter, the ham could be sun simmered or it could be pretty cold?
Well, I mean, how I start off is I actually like to incorporate a bunch of different cooking techniques. So really? You ever see that fish where they like compound like salt all over it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I start off with like about 20 pounds of rock salt I put on top of the ham because that's way cheaper than table salt.
So the salt that you use to melt snow, you just lace that ham full of rock salt.
Scott, it takes care of two things. And it cooks my ham and I melt ice. Uh-huh. So I'm doubly excited for the holiday, right off the bat.
Now, is rock salt a little bit harder to come by down in Georgia because it's there's no snow?
I mean, that was the caveat. I'm like, I got the stronger sun, but like I go into like the Home Depot and they really don't have it. They only have like the salt that's bleached for the pools. So like sometimes if I can't get it shipped down, I just use that, and I have a white ham cooked for.
I mean, I have heard your family mention you got to try Mike's bleached white sun-kissed ham, they call it.
I mean, it's delicious and all. It tingles in the mouth and it kind of tingles all the way through your body and all.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you have to go to the hospital if it tingles too much, but still, it's worth it.
So now you didn't answer my question though. Like,
Yep.
are you you're having the big Easter meal at the house and you're getting the ham prepared. Are you preparing days before, or you just whatever happens on that Easter Sunday, however cooked the ham gets is what you get served?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually quite a few days of preparation. I mean, I've already established the salt situation. The rock salt gets on it, make sure there's no ice on it, so it's warmer right off the bat. All right, well, if I get a frozen ham, I'm like, take that.
We're recording Thursday, so this episode comes out. This episode comes out the day after Easter. So if it's Thursday night, where are we at in the cooking process right now?
Well, what I also like to see is like I see those Hawaiians. You know how they get like the full pig and they bury it in the sand. So what I do is I go in the backyard and I dig up the garden and I plant my bleach ham into the ground and bury it for a couple days and all. Just to, I'm sure it cooks it more. It makes it more moist with like all the bugs that go into it and everything. Luckily, the bleach kills off the bugs, and also don't have to worry about chewing into a worm. That'd be disgusting.
Now, how do you deal with this with your dog? So currently it's Thursday night. The ham is, let me just check in. The ham is underground right now.
Yeah, that's where it's at right now.
Yeah. So how do the dogs deal with this when they go outside to do their business and whatnot?
It's very hard. I mean, a lot of times I have to go out there with a spray bottle to shoo them away, and then also moisten the ground to make sure my ham is juicy when it's thawed out days later.
So instead of glazing the ham, you just moisten the dirt around the salted ham.
Yeah, I mean, it's why wait to the last minute and do that then and all. That's why it's so many days of prep and just so worth it and all. This delicious white glazed dirty ham that I have that bakes in the sun.
So I'm looking at the forecast on Easter Sunday. It's looking like 83 degrees. Now, is that prime temperature for sun ham?
That's a pretty decent one. I got to be honest with you. And all now sometimes if it's hot Atlanta, as they call it, and sometimes it's a little too hot and all, so I had to like cover it and all. And since it's outside, I put it in the garbage can for a couple minutes and all, just so it doesn't. I mean, all the previous food that I prepared before will incorporate in the ham while it's there, but it's not going to overcook it.
So you take the ham out of the garbage can, let it heat up in the sun. And who's coming over for the sun ham feast?
Oh, well, for some reason, like my family doesn't come around anymore as much since I've been preparing my ham. Yeah. So what I'd like to do is get a bunch of strangers and invite them into my home. It's a religious holiday. I want to give to the needy, and I give them all my ham, and they're so generous. I think their lives change around because I don't see them like the next year. Like I can't even find them. I don't know what happened to them. So you go down around Easter time to like homeless shelters and places, and you say, "Come on, guys. I know you're downtrodden, and life has not been exactly fair to you. Would you like to come over to my house for an Easter feast, and I will feed you my ham from the garbage can and the ground where my dogs pee?" I don't want to give them my secrets, guys. Then everybody prepare the hams the same way. My ham doesn't feel special and all, so I don't tell anybody about my prep. I don't know why I'm telling you. Like now the audience is going to find out, and then there's going to be like all like sun ham fast food restaurants throughout the country and all like taking like all these like circuit cities are shutting down and stuff. You just buy up that property. You don't have to turn it into like a spirit Halloween. You just get a bunch of windows and just place hams outside and just start serving the needy out there.
Buddy, I think circuit cities have been shut down for like 15 years at this point.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying there's still like the brick and mortar is there. We all know it's like, oh, that was an old Circuit City. Oh, that was an old Blockbuster. That was an old JC Penney. Wherever you want to sun your ham, it's perfectly fine, but I'm just worried, like now I'm not getting the credit for this delicious treat.
So you think there would be a scenario where like Sun Ham Incorporated and Spirit of Halloween are fighting over, vacant places?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. They got the one holiday. They're probably in the studios thinking of some way to grab Easter. And when they find out about my hams, they're just going to take over an old Blockbuster for 7 days and make sure there's plenty of dirt outside and rock salt and garbage cans to prepare this delicious treat.
Well, I mean, I really hope you have a good Easter with that Sun Ham delicacy. Now, my last question about the Sun Ham is how does your wife feel about your Sun Ham year after year? She's stuck by your side where all the other homeless have kind of gone away.
Yeah, I mean, she's just in a giving mood, Scott, because every time I bring people over for the Sun Ham, she insists not only do they eat it, that they take all the leftovers. She doesn't want us to have the excess. And I'm like, honey, I didn't get any Sun Ham. I didn't give Leia and Vader any Sun
what's
Ham.
better than a nice Sun Ham sandwich at the end of the night? Like, the leftovers.
Like, I can see maybe the dogs run away because, like I said, I spray them with a spray bottle before I spray the dirt to make sure there's moisture in my Sun Ham. Right. But I mean, I guess she's just so giving, and I can't remember the last time I enjoyed my delicious treat.
Well, you know what? You might as well send some in an envelope up to Jersey while you're at it here. So I'd like to try your delicious Sun Ham. Now that we've derailed the podcast once again,
what the hell we were talking about before?
This tends to happen. We try to have like a normal conversation, and then we go. I go no. I think we just went. I just think we went 11 minutes on Sun Ham. So, last week's guest was from Always Sunny. You've heard of Rum Ham if you watch Sunny. Now we have Sun Ham. But Jesus Christ. Anyway. Mike is a wrestling fan. I, like normal people, watched wrestling when I was like a teenager and a kid or whatever. Mike said I got this game for WrestleMania. It's coming up. And he says, I think it's a good game. There'll be a way. I'll put you against Harry, who knows wrestling, but there'll be a way for you to really compete. Okay. And I'm like, oh, all right, I'm in. I love a good game. Mike, little did you know that our friend Harry is an autistic wrestling weirdo. Like he knows when you asked the first, not only that, the first, he had me excited at the beginning of the game. You're like, I'm going to be your manager. I'm going to get you through this. I'm like, oh, Mike's going to like almost be my teammate in the game. And I'm like, all right, cool. So round opens up. You're like, if Harry gets this wrong, you get a chance to answer that. Sure enough, you asked some insane question for the first one. I'm like, oh, maybe Harry has no chance here. Sure enough, something goes off in his head, and he answers some. I don't remember exactly what the first question was, but
it was who was the last Royal Rumble winner who did not have a title match at WrestleMania.
Exactly. Something I would have to go on to Google and ChatGPT, even though ChatGPT ended up failing me in the end anyway.
I feel ChatGPT just texts Harry from now on and gets the answers from him.
Yes.
Like how many matches did King Kong Bundy had? And then it just like, let me send an email to Harry the Kong at gmail.com.
Not even how many matches. It would be like name all the states and dates that King Kong Bundy performed in, on Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he would have a chance at answering that. Now, you went like 3 questions straight. I didn't even have an opportunity. I knew
the third one you got.
The third one. And I knew I was doomed from there. Now, I had hopes that my buddy Mike, my podcast partner of 10 years, was just setting me up where he was going to come in and on his white horse and pick up his buddy Scott, and we would make
right
this game
sunset.
Get to the end, hoist the belt. You're my manager. You're like pointing to the belt around my waist. What only ensued for the next hour and a half was a beatdown of epic proportions. I stood no chance. Mike, this is the time for you to clear your name. What were you trying to do to me?
Well, I mean, here's a few things. Let's remember in round one, it was only 1 point differential. It was 3-2 Harry.
Gotcha.
In the second round, I think it was pretty much the same. Maybe he had a couple more points. Harry, it wasn't like a blowout.
Mm-hmm.
In the third round, at the second question, where you got it right, you got a lead where it was looking like we had an entertaining thing going here.
Sure.
And then, like, we saw the cliff, and we said, let's jump off and see what happens, because Harry just went on like a freaking Kobe Bryant NBA Jam. The basketball's on fire every time he's got the ball, blasting it out. It just boils down to I underestimated how little you knew about wrestling, and I underestimated how much Harry was a freaking wrestling robot.
Now, if you were in the competition, let's say now, don't get me wrong, I like the game. The game was very creative and fun. Because we love a good game here on the show. In fact, it's kind of become the staple of the show in some ways. The games at certain times of the year and new things, and driving myself crazy to come up with a game, ready to kill myself the day before, and then it always seems to work out to be a pretty fun podcast episode. But let's say the roles were reversed and I came up with that exact game, exact questions, you didn't know about them, and you competed against Harry. Do you think you could have hung in there with him?
I definitely think I could hang with him where it wouldn't be. I think I would be in there for like the final question. I don't think I would have needed like the extra ones I was trying to give you to get
the
extra points.
The Make-A-Wish questions you get.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Scott, he's the guy who wore yellow and had long hair, and his name rhymes with Bulk Bogan.
Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Oh, freaking. I will say one thing I don't really have an idea of. Like, I know certain like WrestleMania facts and so forth. I can't say I know that match and it happened at this WrestleMania, or I know it happened in this year, where he, like, when he answered question 2 and he's very like, yes, I remember WrestleMania 25. That was the women's Miss WrestleMania battle royal. And the second he threw that, I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
We got a wrestling Rain Man right here.
When we got to the things where there was 10 options and I was looking at the screen and knew like 2 out of the 10, I was like, oh boy, I'm in trouble here.
Well, that was the hope, was with that whole 10 thing, was it's like I was hoping for a bidding situation and some strategies where it's like, maybe I'll bid 6 where Harry will give it off and I got a larger number and a chance, but everything was like, I got to bid 10 because I'm guessing Harry knows this no matter what.
Yeah, it was a pure David versus Goliath situation, but this time Goliath just beat the hell out of David, and that was the end of the story.
I'm like, Scott, you can't use that slingshot here. Let me take that from you. That's illegal in my game.
Yeah. Now, the real beef I have with you, Mike, is you were my manager, and you did not. You left me after the first round, basically. I felt like at the end of the game there was a heel turn where you just lifting Harry's hand and you were like, I never wanted you anyway. Like, that would have been the proper ending. Like, go back to the backyards, like
go back to Rampage and see if I care. I can find another bare knuckle Brendan.
You'll never have another King Kong or whatever his name, King Kong.
Yeah. Where it boils down to, like I said, as I underestimated the difference, I didn't know on the fly how to change my game where I could have done it much. Like, I had it where like I was going to team with you with the running the ropes thing, but I guess I should have been there on every single question for you.
Now,
I think at the end, Harry was even sad for you, where it's like, yeah, I don't care how you twist this game.
I know you don't watch a ton of soccer, but you know how like the kids come out, the players come out and usually there's kids that are holding your hand for the national anthem. I needed you to be the player and me, the little kid. I need to be holding your hand during the whole thing. You sent me to lines. I feel that what was once my little podcast alone in a room has now turned against me.
Oh, really?
The people are revolting against me. You're giving me games that I have no chance. Dom's winning things. You're winning things left and right. I feel like I'm just getting beat down here, Burlo. I am desperate for a win here. What can I do?
I mean, I'm trying to think.
Would Sunham, like a little bit of Sunham in my diet, help with this?
It'll give you a glow. It definitely will. And it'll be glowing inside your body, outside your body, everything in between, and all that fun stuff.
The last thing I won it wasn't even because of me. It was because the Mets won. Like, it wasn't because of a thing how I performed or things I knew. It was just that the Phillies kind of blew it and the Mets were hot at the time. That's essentially how I won the last game here on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not be a spoiled loser, and then people will care about you. I mean, let's think about it. When you started losing in Shenanigans Showdown, you didn't care anymore.
That's another thing. I think Dom must have our friend Dom. He really had an interesting game where there was a round. Remember the one round? It was like 20 questions, and everyone you got was like, oh, I know that. And then like give me ones and he's like, oh, there's 20 of them. They'll even out. Oh, they never evened out.
This guest only has one vowel in his last name. Name him.
Yeah. This guest said approximately this many sentences on episode 42. But yeah, I am on a massive cold streak here, and I don't even know what the next game where we'll compete in is. I don't know. I might have to.
Memorial Day's coming up. I don't think that has a lot of question.
What are we gonna do?
Kind of weird, like
war game.
This warrior died during World War II. Burlu, who did they fight in World War II? Name the country.
The U.S. was in World War II. Name the 3 colors of their flag. Yeah, I am. I'm downtrodden in the Shenanigans verse. I am a lonely peasant at this point, and I feel like I'm watching Burrow just become king of the jungle here. He's winning. You won what did you win? The Halloween game? You won the Halloween game, right?
I no. Or did I win the Halloween? Yeah, I'm trying to think. I won the Christmas game.
Yes.
I think I lost the Halloween game to Dom.
Oh, Dom won the Halloween. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm undefeated against Sicoli when he's come on the show.
That's true.
So you have more wins than Sicoli. So there you go.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to rebound here. We're gonna have to now. My first thought is like, okay, I got to get these 2 clowns back together and give them a game of something that I know a lot about, and watch you 2 flounder as no one comes to help you. So that was my first thought. Like, okay, we're gonna have to reverse this thing, but I don't know. I think I need to come up with something. I think we need a game where the 4 of us can compete somehow. Our 2 friends, Don and Harry. I don't know how that's possible, considering one of us has to pull the strings, but it almost some kind of 4-way game where we each prepare something. We're gonna have to figure that out.
Well, at one time, I was trying to get Wink Martindale on the show, so he could have been the one that hosted it. But
well, let's talk about that real quick before we get to our guest. Another dead person that you contacted, Mike. For those of you who are just listening now, I don't know if anybody new made it through our Sun Ham and wrestling game conversation, but if you're still with us 26 minutes in, Mike has a history of just seeing dead people dying around him, people having heart attacks in the grocery store, someone almost dying when he went out to eat, someone in the river when he traveled to India dead. The list goes on and on and on. Now a neighbor, now a guy that Mike's been trying to get on the podcast, dead. Coincidence? I don't really think so.
I think it's coincidence considering he was 91.
No, he probably would have lived to 100 if you stopped emailing him.
I haven't emailed him in a while, and I think you might have added him to the Substack, so this is going to be kind of awkward. This will be like the one episode they're like, you know what? Dad was going to go on that show. Let's see what it was all about.
Yeah. I can't wait till Charlie Duke goes back into space and comes crashing down to Earth in a malfunction because of the phone call you set up with him.
Well, if he goes with great astronauts like Katy Perry, he's not going to have an issue. Don't worry about it. He gets, Charlie Duke, Katy Perry, Gail Kim, they're going to Mars, I think.
Would you would you volunteer to go in one of those little spacecrafts? Like, money aside, no money, unless you want to like spend some of the shenanigans money we've been hoarding for a while. But
that's true.
Would you take the ride?
I don't think I will. I got a heights thing that it's one of those, like, when you're in like a space capsule, the whole thing is you have to like look out the window to like truly embrace the situation. So you know what I mean?
So if you went up to space, you just like close your eyes and cower in the corner until you went back down to Earth.
It's like I'm in a haunted house and I'm a 6-year-old. It'll all be done soon. It'll all be done soon. It'll all be done soon.
Pearl, you spent
it's like when we land. I was in space.
You spent $11 million and you didn't look out the window?
It's very scary, Scott. I was floating out of my seat. I knew I was in the space thing, but I wasn't opening my eyes. I'm like, no, sir.
Now, I get the heights thing, but like I feel like when you get to a certain point, like in an airplane, are you afraid of heights in an airplane?
I'm not afraid of heights in an airplane, but I feel safe in an airplane. I can't fathom, as it's like 3Gs shoving you up into the sky, me saying, this feels natural and safe doing this.
Now, if you could bring a couple people aboard the space travel to make you feel better, who would you bring in your capsule?
Just my dogs. I feel if anything happens, me and my dogs will figure things out and we can get back home very safely.
So just you and the dogs just howling in the space capsule.
Yeah. Houston, we're out of kibble.
The capsule lands. They're like, oh my God, there's shit and piss all over this thing, but it's just human,
We're up there for 5 days. My dogs turn on me because they're starving, and then I'm just like devoured by my dogs as I come back to Earth.
I think I think if I don't know. I think if it ever became like a thing where like it's regular, like people are going into like this mission happens over and over again, and it's almost like a tourist thing, like, okay, you go to space and come back or whatever, like a ride. I think eventually I could be convinced to go in the capsule.
All right. I mean, don't go on the ride. That pissed off Gail King the entire time, apparently. Like, everybody's referring to it. Apparently, like, people are referring to it as a ride, and she's like, it's more than a ride. It's like some billionaire allowed you to go into space. Shut the hell up. Just be like, I want to tell everybody I'm famous, I'm rich, and I got that for free in your face.
Yeah, like, if there was a little bit more truth to people who are rich and not this like gaslighting fake thing, like, yeah, I have money. I had an opportunity to go to space. Like I could be blowing my money on clothes and diamonds and houses. I wanted to go into space. Like, if you work hard and do different things, you could also have this opportunity. I feel like people would relate to that more.
Maybe we should just reverse it. I mean, we're worried. I mean, we're sending all the rich up into space. I mean, we've had
Here we go.
we've had this thing with like homelessness for quite a while. So you just start shooting them up and all. Don't spend money to send people to El Salvador to shove in those jails. No, we gotta pay El Salvador for that. I mean, just put MS-13 on Apollo 13 and shoot them up.
So we're just shooting criminals to space now. This is, this is how Moon Jail. This is the prequel to Moon Jail.
Yeah, just one day it's like, sir, all those gang members, they've been up in space and they've been living fine and all. I mean, I guess we got to build a facility up there.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like all the criminals that are there are actually living well and forming like a very army, like a big army to actually come back to Earth. And
they got all that technology because they're floating in space. I mean, the homeless people, they got nothing else better to do, so they're going to team up with MS-13, and then we're going to have to get Space Force to save us.
Okay,
from all these
here. So today on the episode, you've suggested bringing people over homeless people over your house to eat ham that you cooked in the sun and the dirt, and then your next suggestion was to take the homeless and shoot them into space to get rid of them.
I want to point out it's just a suggestion. We don't have to shoot homeless people into space, but if we're trying to kill two birds with one stone, I mean, keep the space program going and have the homeless at least have like a capsule to live in for a couple days. There you go.
Oh, so now you're offering capsule space to the homeless.
Well, I mean, I can't give them the Katy Perry thing, like shoot them up and 18 minutes later they're back on Earth. That'd be ridiculous. It's like, I didn't solve anything with the homeless problem. I got to at least give them a couple days up there so the numbers come down.
Who was it? The leader of China came to California or whatever, and they cleaned the homeless out for like a day or two, and they were like, "Wow, you could." Yeah. And they cleaned so you're suggesting that, if we can do that for a day, what would be even better is if we could just ship them to space for a couple days at a time, and hopefully they get stuck up there.
Well, when we get like foreign dignitaries that show up, and I'm sure like they're on the streets and there's like signs. It's like, oh, I don't see the homeless, but I know they're here somewhere. Right. If they're in space, there's no signs to give them. So they're just like, wow, America took care of this problem. No, they're a good country. No, maybe I'll take down my tariffs and all and invest in this place.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Now, a lot of these homeless people have drug and alcohol problems. Are you sending them cold turkey or are you loading that capsule with heroin and fentanyl?
I mean, I guess we could shoot up some like AA counselors as well. I mean, maybe they'll be the leader of the crew.
They're doing space counseling to the homeless people.
Well, Scott, they got to kill time somehow. I mean, what are we going to do? Have them like build a satellite up there?
Wait. So all these drug addicted people who are like downtrodden and can't get off of fentanyl and stuff like that. Your idea is to put them in a capsule. Mm-hmm. No drugs. No drugs. No weaning off or anything. Shooting them into space as they detox in anti-gravity situation.
Yeah, I mean,
so you have floating people with the shakes and the tremors, and they're floating around in this capsule in space.
Yeah, I mean, the counselor will be fine because there's no gravity, so they can't like just run at the counselor and do anything. So we could just spend the entire time just talking them down and everything while we keep them up. So
you're saying if like a traditional rehab center didn't work for them or medication, that them tweaking and freaking out but floating, they've never tried that before. So there could possibly be that could be a solution.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to worry about them screaming. You know why, Scott? Nobody can hear you scream in space.
Oh, it's a very interesting view you have of the homeless, Mike.
We'll bring them back when they're done.
So we're going to bring back these junkies from space who have you shot out of here, and then we're just going to say, okay, come on back, boys.
Yeah, I mean, they're off the drugs now. They'll get used to gravity, and we're like, now we can get you a job.
So Space-Hab is your next thing that you're going to
Did somebody
Initiate.
take that name yet? Space-Hab?
Well, we record this. We're not live, so you might as well go get the
Yes!
website now. So, Mike, I'm going to let you segue out of this conversation. I always have the hard parts. I have the intro. I got to play wrestling games against losers like Harry. Get us out of this.
Well, I mean, while you're in space and looking at the Earth, you're also looking at the stars, and we have a star here on the podcast tonight, Scott. Tonight, we are talking with entertainer Deanna Colón. She is a songwriter. She's a performer. She has been on America's Got Talent. She has been on Masterchef. She has done commercials with Bad Bunny, with Pepsi, and she's most famous for her recent commercial with the Jardiance jingle ad. So, Scott, she's a fun, interesting person. Let's get Deanna on the line.
What's up, dudes?
What's going on?
What's up, Deanna? Welcome to the podcast. I'm Mike. That's Scott.
Hi, Mike and Scott. How are you guys?
We are
Doing
great.
well. I mean, after that dance and play, you might be the happiest person to join this podcast, and I'm including us too right now. So,
Oh wow, I'm pretty effing happy.
Oh, don't worry. There's still time. By the end of this, you won't be dancing.
yeah, around minute 15, we'll be asking you that question again.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Oh shit, let's go. Let's go.
So, Deanna, thank you for giving us some time on the show. I guess I want to just start off right at the beginning. And I mean, it's funny how like your story sounds just like kind of a movie opening. Can you tell us about just like singing somewhere and somebody overhears you and then boom, you're going to Berkeley on a music scholarship?
Yeah, it kind of was. I mean, the trajectory of my life was not where I am today. I was born and raised in a suburb of Boston, literally to an immigrant dad, immigrant from Italy, and my mom. They were married, crazy, at 18 and 20, opened their restaurant that they ran for 45 years, our family restaurant. And I thought my trajectory was, you're going to be in the cooking restaurant business.
Yeah.
Kind of the way it goes, right? And early in my career, I was kind of a latchkey kid. So my dad would go to work at like 4:35 in the morning. My mom would relieve him around 6. We'd get home around 2:33. So from like 3 to 6, we were on our own. If dad came home at 6, sometimes he had to stay later. Mom would come home, 10, 11, sometimes midnight. And I would literally just be in my basement singing after I did my chores, after I did my homework. And when I graduated high school, I was like, well, I'm not, what am I going to go to college for? I saw fame. So I was like, I want to go to Juilliard, and my mom was like, my Italian mom was not having me going away to college. Right. Let me rephrase that. My Italian Catholic mom was like, you're not going away to college. I know what happens to girls who go away to college kind of vibe. And, so literally I was like, okay, screw it. I'm going to move to New York and be a big star. So I was recording my demo or my single, which was, if you can believe it, I'm going to outdate both of you right now. Ka-single. A ka-single. Like, look at Scott. He's like, what?
No. I remember specifically.
Do you remember ka-singles?
Specifically going into
Tower
like
Records,
a Sam Goody or something like that, and I had Meatloaf's I do everything for love, but I won't do that. So I had the single. Deanna, let's not. I'm right with you.
I love that you admitted that you had that single. Okay,
hey, well,
that's like that's a good one. But no, literally, was working on this thing, and this I didn't know that the studio I was recording at was across the street. I had no idea what Berkeley was, by the way. And this man approaches me and he's like, hey, you have a great voice. Cause I was like singing whatever. I was going to go back and sing. And I'm like, thanks. And he's like, do you go to Berkeley? And I'm like, well, what's Berkeley? I have no idea. And by the end of it, he handed me his card and he's like, hey, audition for this 5-week summer program. I can probably get you a full ride to the summer program, which I did because I was like, well, I have nothing to do this summer. Let's go to Berkeley and hone our skills before I move to New York and become a big star. And bam, at the end of that, got a 4-year scholarship to study at Berkeley. Like they announced my name and I'm like, why are they announcing my name? And everybody's like, you just won a full scholarship to the college. And I was like, I did, like clueless. My parents in the audience going, well, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean? Like hands up in the air like this and everything. And yeah, long story short, 4 years, one of the first people in my immigrant family to graduate high school, and definitely on a full ride. So kind of cool.
Now you were just singing on your own, like were you involved in, I don't know, choir or plays at school or things like that? Or is this truly like, no one really knows I'm performing shows in my basement by myself and this, and you know?
No. I was fully aware from my basement, like I can sing. Fun fact, my mom used to sneak me into karaoke bars.
Okay. So
that had weekly cash prizes. Okay. No, now picture this. I'm 15. My mother is 35. So we look like sisters.
Yeah.
She's getting me into karaoke bars. I'm walking in, I'm piping Whitney Houston or whatever the hell, winning the cash prize. This was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. Right.
So there's an awareness of your talent then.
There's an awareness. And then the full ride to Berkeley kind of made me go, okay, I really have something, because I don't think this big giant institution would give me all this money if I didn't have a nugget. But in high school, I was in all the plays. I was in the musicals.
Okay.
I was doing it. They knew me as a creative. I wasn't a cheerleader. I wasn't I wasn't that. I was like a band geek. I was in choir and I was in all the shows. And when I was 16, I auditioned and got picked to be in this thing called Sounds of America. Okay.
Oh.
So 15 years old, I turned 16 in Paris, France. I went to 8 countries in like 6 weeks and sang at Notre Dame Cathedral. I mean, crazy places. We went to like Switzerland, Italy, France, Germany, nuts. And so that was the other way that I knew, like, okay, between that and then the Berkeley thing, I'm like, okay, I might have a nugget, I might have something here. And then by the time I was done with Berkeley, it was like, okay, like, I had already gotten some major commercials at that point and done backgrounds for some major artists and had film and TV placements because I'm also a songwriter. So I was like, okay, this is it. We're not going to go into the restaurant business. This is it. And I always said to myself, if the music thing doesn't work, I have a music business and management degree from Berkeley. I'll go and become a music lawyer. Like I knew I was going to be somewhere
in the music
in entertainment. I just didn't know what,
I wonder what the Sounds of America in 2025 would be. I feel like there'd be much different songs.
A lot of cursing.
Yeah.
They'd be doing Cardi B and Notre Dame Cathedral. Hysterical. They should do it. I don't think they do it anymore. I think it's defunct now, but it was like 300 people on tour. It was insane. It was a full band and choir. It was insane.
Wow.
It was insane. Yeah.
So you graduate, and if I get this right, Patti LaBelle you perform for, and she comes to the back and she just, I don't think I can give it justice repeating your words. What could you tell our audience what Patti LaBelle told you?
So the way Berkeley does it is the graduating class, they pick the best of the best to put on a show, instrumentalists and singers, for the honorary doctorate recipients. So that year it was Pat Metheny, guitar virtuoso, and Patti LaBelle, which was next to Whitney Houston, probably one of my favorite vocalists at the time. I worshipped her. I mean, sang down. I have to sing Patti songs for Patti. So just imagine that pressure. All right, there we are. I'm 5'2", white chick doing Patti fucking LaBelle. Like, give me a break. Can I swear? Okay, I hope I can, because I just swore. She comes down in the green room after the show to say thank you to all the students. She looks at me and she just goes, she's like, you were singing something. You a little Patti. She said it just like that. And I literally sat there in that moment and she literally turned around and walked away. That was it. That's all she said to me.
Yep.
And I was like, I can die. And I'm good. Patti LaBelle just called me little Patti LaBelle. I'm done. I'm done. I can die. Put a fork in me. Finished. It was awesome. It was awesome.
I told you, Scott, I couldn't pull off the Patti LaBelle. And
you've
great
been
with voices.
I think you can do it. Let's coach you. Let's coach you.
I agree. Let's get you through this.
Ready? You. Right. You a little singing something.
You a little singing something.
You a little Patti.
You a little Patti.
And walked away.
Oh, poor Patti.
All right, I'm done, Scott.
Nah, please go.
Michael,
Just go.
Michael, I'm proud of you. Michael, I'm proud of you. That was
Please go upstairs and tell your wife you're little Patti Labelle. Let me handle the rest of the interview.
Scott, that needs to be like the
it will. It will.
Oh yeah.
Him, not me. Him.
Yes.
Like, we've got Deanna Chica Colón on the show, but it's gonna be him. You do it, please.
But what you don't understand, what you've just created, that as the weeks go on, he's gonna be like, I'm little Patti, remember? And this is gonna take on a whole character that I'm gonna have to deal with now for the next
and now all the audience are like, when did you get Patti Labelle on the show? And it's like, no, it was Burlew doing a voice during the show.
I'm fully expecting him to be Patti Labelle this year for Halloween. Don't let me down.
Quote me.
Yeah. I don't know how that will fly, but I think you should be here for Halloween too, Mike.
I do. Drag Patti Labelle. Do it. Great.
So, Deanna, like as I look at all your stuff, and now you got your hands and everything. You've done the reality TV. You've done America's Got Talent. You've done Masterchef. You do all these commercials. You've talked and done a lot in the interviews about like you got to constantly be changing yourself. I'm kind of curious. Has there been something yet that you haven't touched that you're saying is on my bucket list to take care of?
Everything we just talked about, singing. I'm sorry, I have 8 rescue dogs. It's one of my giant loves in life. So they're barking. So I apologize to your listeners. Whether it's singing, whether it's songwriting, whether it's acting, whether it's hosting, whether it's my chef stuff, it's all creativity to me. I'm creating in a studio, on a plate, on a stage. It's all creativity. The one thing that I would love to do in my career, I would love to make it to Broadway. I came really close, with the musical Hairspray. And I don't know when, I don't know how, but I would love for my happy ass to be back in New York because I lived there for 12 years. I lived in the city for 12 years. I'd love to be back in New York City with the sole purpose of being on a Broadway stage and headlining a Broadway show, however, whatever character. You know, it's funny, when I was on AGT, I had walked by Radio City Music Hall almost every day, right? Never stepped foot in the building. So like, how cool. I have a picture of the first day that I walked into Radio City and walked on the stage to do my dress rehearsal. And I have a picture of my feet on the stage. I took a picture of it because I said all the years I lived in the city, I never even walked in the building, and I'm in the building on the stage, which is a legendary stage, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But to sing for 10 million people live on America's Got Talent, I mean, cuckoo.
Yeah.
Like another one of those moments you're like, am I here? You know, very surreal.
Unless you're like me and you don't like feet, then the picture doesn't, you know.
I had good heels. On. It wasn't my pair of feet, guys. It wasn't my pair of feet, okay?
Internet, don't look for those photos.
No. I had a cute pair of kicks on. Don't get it twisted, okay?
You know, we've interviewed so many people over the years. You know, we've been going since 2014, and you know, you pick little inspirations and nuggets from all these different artists, and whether it's music, whether it's the guy that created the Ninja Turtle, like they all have these really interesting advice and or inspiration. So I'm curious, like, you know, I'm looking at some of the people you've worked with, from Nick Jonas to Celine Dion and Justin Bieber, whatever it is, all these people you've worked with along the way. Is there one person that like stands out that kind of changed the way you look at either performance or recording, or there's some nugget you took from them that just was like, wow, like I could see something so different now?
I had the privilege of working with an artist that was signed to Quincy Jones.
Okay.
And after working with her for a week, I got to go to a dinner at a private home. There's probably 20 people there. And I don't know how I got to sit next to Quincy the whole night.
Wow.
And he was so wonderful. Like, we were having conversations and people were walking up with like an album and they'd be like, can you sign this, Quincy? And he would stop the conversation. Absolutely. And he was just so kind and wonderful. And I looked at him and I said, you have a beautiful soul. You're so generous with people. And he said, have humility in your creativity and grace in your success. And I have to tell you, I have not forgotten those words. Have humility in your creativity and grace in your success. Words that he literally lived by. And when I heard that, I went, that's kind of my whole thing now. When I do anything, I wake up every day. I literally wake up every day, put my feet on the ground and go, God, thank you so much. Like, whoa, like I get to wake up every day and I know what my day is going to look like essentially, but I never know what email or call or message from my agent is going to come through. And that could be the thing that like skyrockets me, or that could be the thing that changes my life, or that could be the thing that just puts me on another trajectory for my career, another thing on my resume, another moment in my career. And for that, I am so grateful, and no disrespect to anybody in this country or in this world that gets up and goes to a 9 to 5. It's honest work. God bless you. You're better than me. I would die. You know what I mean? I would die. I have to wake up and go, I'm going to be creative. I'm going to make music, sing music, write music, make food, put food up on my social media. I'm going to, write a piece of music, whatever it is. I'm hosting an event, so I get to use this personality that I was given. Getting to talk to you guys today. Like, if nobody's told you, I feel so honored to be here. Because if one person sees this and one person is inspired by my story and one person believes in themselves that bit more after seeing this, Kobe, slam dunk, job done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a shame. Yeah, we just lost Quincy Jones like what, 3 or 4 months ago too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So
and now you've inspired Mike to think that he's equivalent to Patti LaBelle. So your inspiration has no ends.
Good little Patti.
Listen, I felt it the day Quincy died, but I loved that he lived such a long life.
Sure.
And man, the impact. And if your listeners out there haven't seen the Netflix documentary on Quincy, watch that documentary. If you don't even know who he is, you're like, I don't know. Who is he? What does he do? Michael Jackson. Please don't stop at Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson. That guy has a discography that will blow your damn hair back. As a matter of fact, one of the questions that I got to ask him as I'm sitting there is, who was his favorite person to work with? Thinking the answer is going to be Michael. No. He points to a gold ring on his pinky finger and he goes, my best friend, Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
You ask Quincy who the most incredible person he ever worked with. What he answered to me was Frank Sinatra. And he pointed to, I guess he had or has, I don't know where the ring is now, Frank Sinatra's ring.
That's cool.
Huge.
Now, you've been a bottle of positivity here, and I kind of want to get into how I figured to contact you and talk to you on the show is when they were doing the CBS Morning about the Super Bowl commercials.
Yes.
And for those who don't know, you did the Jardiance original commercial for, I guess, their drug. And I was shocked by how you tell me people were going out of their way to contact you to try to insult you. Can you give a little background on like the timeline of this?
Pretty immediately. I don't need everybody in the world to love my commercial. I love that commercial. She's the best. Nobody expects that. There's an ass for every saddle. Okay. But what I'm speaking on, because I saw comments going, why is she complaining? Look at the money she made. No, we're talking about something very different. First of all, no matter how many stacks of checks, you're still human and it hurts your soul when somebody is saying disgusting, very cruel, vile things about you. None of us is made of steel, number one. Number two, I'm cool with, I hate that effing commercial. Great. No, people were, you're X, Y, and Z. You're gonna die. If you did what you did in that commercial every day, you wouldn't be so gross and fat. And guys, I mean, like, holy shit! Like, wow! Like, every mean, not just, come under my Instagram and type something horrible. Like, find my email, find my website, write me dissertations of what a POS I was. Like, wow. Like, who are you mad at? Who hurt you? I got to tell you, I'm fairly aware that anybody who goes out of their way to write, there are people, celebrities, I don't mess with. I'm not even going to name their names because I don't even want to give them any shine. But I am not under their Instagram telling them what a piece of shit they are. Right?
I just can't believe people like, okay, like you see a commercial, you don't like it or something.
Yeah.
Like, have the time or the bandwidth to go, okay, I'm not only going to dislike this commercial, I'm going to follow up on it. I'm going to harass the people, but like,
it's not like a TV show where there's credits where I can instantly go, that's your name, I can find you easily. They had to like Google this stuff.
But even that, you see a TV show, you hate the character, you find out who the actor is. If you go and send that actor a message, you're a whack job. Let's be really clear.
I think anybody who sends any actor like a mess, like people who wish an actor happy birthday, like it's like, I don't know what you're looking for here. Like it's a little strange to me.
Yeah, like come over for Thanksgiving. Thanks for the birthday. I don't know. Guys, there was a hate group on Facebook.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
The day I had enough was when it was reported back to me through tons of my supporters who joined the group to stop them, to report it. The day that a man went and said, let's take a gander at how big her areolas are. That was the day that as a woman and a mom, I went, you've crossed a fucking line.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that is bad. Some guy that went on there and said, I figured out where she lives. That's weird, man. And that's
really weird.
You're messing with my safety and the safety of the people I love. You're crazy. So that's the type of stuff when people are like, oh, but you got checks. No check will ever heal that is what I'm talking about. That's crazy. That's weird. That's, personally attacking somebody's looks or assuming how they eat or diet or exercise or whatever they do. Wow. That's like me being like, why do you have that beard? What are you so white?
Yeah,
red?
Scott.
Like reading you like you might be you might be a Democrat for Christ's sake. What do I care? But the assumptions that we can make just looking at each other, that's what I was getting. And it was like, zip about me. Like nothing. You have no idea what I've struggled with. You have no idea the tears I've cried. You have no idea how if there was a magic pill and I could take it and be $1.25 and hot, I would. But maybe I was put on this earth and the journey that God put me on is to be seen and to have this spotlight to tell other people you could do it too. Don't let anything stop you. Your height, your weight, your color, your this, your that. Nothing. Don't let anything get in the way of your dream. And there is a place for each and every one of us. Maybe that's my journey.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like it was just so much better pre-internet where the weirdos just stayed at home or like talked weird things in the backyard. Now everyone has this machine they can, disrupt and just be awful. And
and you can say whatever you want and you never have to watch. You know what I love is my favorite trolls on the internet are the ones that come and spew all this hate at you. And then when you go to reply to tell them to suck up bleep, they don't let you comment back. They have their privacy settings where you can't.
Yeah. Or they don't have a profile picture. Their sole purpose is just like,
I'll be honest. I bully the bullies. I very rarely get something like that and just go, okay, you're weird. I'm going to leave you alone. No, I always say something back. Always. Because I do it for everybody that won't. And what's scary is that I'm lucky that I'm at this point in my life and my head is right and my heart is right. And I understand that these are unhappy people because I can't imagine if this was a kid going through this.
Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And now we have stories of kids getting messages like this and then committing suicide.
Yeah.
So I advocate for those people that don't and those people that didn't.
Now, this commercial, like, not that I'm downplaying that you were in a commercial, but were you just like, this is just a commercial gig. I'm gonna do it, have fun with it. Like, did you know it was it was serious or
any different from like your Big Lots commercial or something?
Well, let me explain. I don't think that people understand how difficult it is to land one.
Sure.
First of all, it's like a 1 in 10,000 chance. Seriously, like they audition a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to actually get picked is huge.
Right.
So to get it, remember we were like tail end of COVID. I hadn't worked in 3 years. I was like, thank you, Jesus. Like I'll take anything right now. Mm-hmm. I had no idea it was going to be massive because you never do. In all honesty, right before this or right during this time, I think it was right after I shot the Bad Bunny Pepsi commercial. I thought that was going to be huge, like way bigger. I'm in a Pepsi commercial, big, with Bad Bunny, big. I thought Pepsi Bad Bunny was going to smoke this. No, like this was
very interesting.
Huge. And my approach was yet again, I'm just so grateful.
It's work. Yeah.
Obviously.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but during COVID, singers, actors, writers, people like that were not working.
Oh, I know. It was great for us. We had interviews stacked up. Like, everybody was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come on. No problem."
I have nothing better to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, I had to figure out a way to find and make work. So when this came, I went. I get to sing. I get to dance. I get to act.
Mm-hmm.
I get to go to Florida, shoot at Universal Florida. I'll go. Let's go.
Yep.
Sign me.
That's beautiful. When was the bomb Chica born?
Bomb Chica was like obsessed with like pinup vintage stuff. And I saw this image of this chick writing like a B-52 bomb. And I was like, and I'm always been multi-talented, said with humility, always been very multi-talented. And I went, I'm the bomb. I'm the bomb.com. I'm the bomb Chica. And when I saw her and she was like kind of Latina looking and pinup-y on this B-52, I went, Bomb Chica. So my logo is a heart grenade. That's my logo, is a heart grenade. Like I'm the bomb, but it's a heart, it's love. And, you know, multi-talented, but also like I'm explosive. I'm explosive with joy. I'm explosive with fun. I'm explosive with positivity. I try to make people laugh. Guys, I just posted on my Instagram yesterday. We have a club out here in Vegas called Little Darlings. And on their sign, it says Little Darlings and it says, now accepting all position, even ugly chicks. So I green screened it and I was like, hey, with the price of eggs, I'm going to go dance. And my dancer name is going to be Big Bounce. And I put it up like, I can poke fun at myself. Like I can laugh. I'm not going to go work at a strip club for eggs, guys. Let's be clear. But I threw it up there to make people laugh, to make people smile. Hey, people were like, hey, where do I line up to throw hundreds at? Yeah, I'm like, maybe I should think about this.
They found that old foot picture.
I was going to say, start with the feet. There's some feet weirdos out there. You don't need to make commercials anymore. Just
let me tell you something. I hats off to all the OnlyFans chicks. I'm just saying, God bless your soul. You figured out a way to use what you got and make a lot of money. I mean, God bless you, you know?
So let me ask you, with all the negativity we talked about, like turning it in, being positive about it and would you, if you were to go back, would you take that, what you went through and the bullying and everything, would you take it away? Or do you look back at it and say, hey, that's what actually spawned a certain mentality or spawned a personality from you?
I hate that now. I hate that now this Jardiance thing is aligned with, wow, she got really beat up and bullied for doing this. A lot of people had some horrible things to say about her. I hate that because for me, when I think about the Jardiance commercial, I think about the hundreds of DMs, the videos of little kids sent to me by parents going, my kid stops in their tracks to sing dance with you. Yeah. Like, let me tell you something. The positive far outweighs the trolls. And, the CBS Sunday Morning clip that they put up on their Instagram, they put up my clip, they put up Flo's clip, they put up Dean Winter, Mayhem's clip. They got like 60,000 views on their little clip. I hit over 1 million. So I put up a post on my Instagram and literally highlighted some of the horrible troll comments that I got on the CBS. Now I'm talking about the trolls, but yet the trolls still come out under the CBS Sunday Morning stuff to spew disgusting things. So I highlighted them, put them in a reel, and I said, hey, I just want to shout you all out. Thanks so much for this comment and this mean comment and this mean comment, because you just bumped me up. You just made me surpass 1 million views. So here I am sandwiched between Flo and Dean Winters. And this chick right here, this nobody, has 1 million views on CBS Sunday Morning. More than Taylor Swift, more than Demi Moore, more than, I mean, there's a bunch of people that they highlight on their Instagram. I have 1 million freaking views. So you know what? If they're not talking about you, you must not be doing something right.
So you guys heard that. Please send your insults to Michael Burlew. Please tell him how terrible he is. Help us out here. We could use it.
Scott, the box is full again.
Yeah.
We got to get the second one going.
I mean, listen, I'm all for comedy. I'm all for that. I'm all for having fun. But when you are going after somebody's physical attribution or, saying stuff like that, it's below the belt mean. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a level of having an opinion about something and then being mean. I just put up that I didn't like the new Meghan Markle Netflix show. I said, listen, you got to do a little bit more than take peanut butter pretzels and put them in a plastic bag and label them peanut butter pretzels for me to think that you just gave me a tip or a trick, right? And people came for me. Why are you not? You're racist. Oh my God. First of all, I'm racist.
Yeah, that's their favorite.
Two, I don't support other women. 3, I'm the girl who cried wolf, saying she gets bullied. Now here she is bullying somebody. Did I say Meghan Markle was an ugly, hideous, fat POS? Not at all. I just said, girl, like, give me a break with this cooking show. And really, if you were looking between the lines, what I'm really saying is, hey, Netflix, if you're going to give a Black woman a cooking spotlight show on Netflix, how about Cartier Brown? How about Sunny Anderson? How about Carla Hall? How about Tabitha Brown? How about somebody who isn't married to a fucking prince and somebody who maybe needs the money or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, I think she's good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, personally, I'm just kind of tired of some of these celebrities coming into spaces they have no business being in, adding to their billions that they already have. Give somebody else a shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's me. That's how I think. Like, there are tons of incredible Black and Latina women who deserve a Netflix show that are just surviving on social media right now.
That's racist.
Or on YouTube channels. Netflix, where you at? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was the underlying message, but people seem to miss that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Deanna, we just had a blast listening to your story, talking to you. You're an absolute treasure. I will just say it right to your face. So you really appreciate the time for you coming on to our show. You doing so many things, TikTok, singing, acting, dancing. People want to know what you're up to, where you're going, new projects. Where are the best places to go to find you?
All
Not
across
to
the
insult you, by the way.
Oh yeah, and please send me insult. Please, I'll make you famous. You can find me everywhere, either at my website, iamdeanna.com, or social media, TikTok, Instagram. It's all the same, at Deanna Bomb Chica. I love when people send me messages, send me a DM. Let me know what you thought of the show. I answer every single one. I answer every single email I get. I even answer the mean ones. Yeah. So, hit that follow button and send me a message and let's be friends.
And final question for me, as you being a vocal coach and hearing me and Scott talk for the last 30 minutes, if both of us went into requesting you for help and all, which one are you saying, oh my God, I got to do overtime to fix this problem?
I got to be honest. It's probably Scott.
Damn it.
Ooh.
Damn it.
Yeah, because Michael, I think like maybe 1 or 2 lessons you would sound just like Patti Labelle. But Scott, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Give me a little something, Scott.
No, you've been mean to me. I'm going to make you famous now on Instagram, and I don't appreciate your comments. So I'm going to be signing off now.
Come on, give me a little White Snake. A little "Here I Go Again on My Own." Come on, give me a little. I know you know that song.
I just don't give it away for free. I'm sorry.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Damn,
I'm very upset with the bomb, Chica. And, yeah, good luck with whatever
Hey,
you
Mike.
do.
Hey, Mike, let me know when you need a new co-host, okay, bro? Just
Ooh.
He's
All
needed it for years.
Oh, snap.
The bomb Chica, Mike. The bomb Chica.
So you recognize her nickname, but not mine.
What's your nickname again?
The Burrows.
No, I don't recall this ever.
But we had a whole thing, and you had to call me that, and then you tried to get around it. And
No, I don't recall any of that. But Mike, do you think if you like she's been a brand, person for different things. If they were to call you up, okay, and say, Mike, we need you, you're the kind of guy we want. We want you to be the face of, a product or something like that. We want you to be the face of this. What do you think you would represent really well?
what would I represent really well? Hooked on phonics.
What, to debunk hook on phonics that it doesn't work?
Well, I mean, like I feel like I would be just perfect for there where somebody would look at me and they're like, you know what? That guy's hooked on them.
I think, wow, I haven't thought about hooked on phonics in 20 years. Do you think hooked on phonics is still around? And can we get them on the podcast?
I bring the reason and I get these young kids on to verbal shenanigans, people, with my quotes.
Our demographic. We're talking about wrestling from 1993, and now we're throwing hooked on phonics references out there. So you think you'd be able to represent a grammar program?
I mean, just listen to my speaking voice, Scott. It's just so majestic, and it proves how well I know the language, the way I talk half the time.
I like your voice, but you don't know words. You don't really know words.
Yeah, but my voice says word-like things, which makes people think, oh, he's pretty smart. I didn't even know that word.
I mean, we literally just had a 11-minute conversation about sunham because of something you messed up, and that's how we went down the rabbit hole. So you're going to represent...
No, I never mess up my sunham. It's delicious.
So you're going to represent kids who can't read, and then be like, I can be like that guy.
Yeah. And if they failed, they're like, well, I'm still pretty close to that guy, so they don't feel bad when they're not hooked on the phonics.
Oh God. But yeah, I want, I was always curious, like people who, like, we've had a lot of the people who've been a part of big commercials, like Cassie last week, like the "What's in Your Wallet" stuff, and we had the Geico caveman guy.
And we had the original Ronald McDonald, Squire Farrell. We had Terry Tate, the Office linebacker, on the podcast.
Wow, that brings back so many. Terry Tate is one of the best. We never bring that up. That's one of the best guests we've ever had on this show, because it was so ridiculous, like getting him on and having. Was Lester Spate, right? That was his name.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. If you don't know the Office linebacker commercials, I don't even remember who they were for.
We're gonna have
Staples. Staples.
I don't think it was Staples.
Office Max. Was it Office Max?
Office.
I don't know. But Terry Tate commercials, whatever. Back in the day, God, here we are reaching out to our demographic. There's these commercials about how to like keep order in the office, and they hired a linebacker, and he just like tackled people all throughout the office and whatnot. And we got him very, very, very early on in the podcast, and it was one of this is such a great episode, or great get, if you will. Fits right into our wheelhouse here. But
yeah, if I read this correct, this was for Reebok.
That's correct. Yep. Reebok. So yeah.
We had the sprint turn as well. Jamie Lynn Watson.
The sprint turn. I'm sure there's a couple more that we've had on, but I was always curious, like if you get cast in one of those and they're so, so well known, like how hard it is to like break that mold afterwards. Like, okay, like, am I going to be typecasted as just this person or whatnot? I was curious, like it having so much commercial success, if it would affect like an acting career as far as like getting into real stuff.
Well, I know, like the girl who plays Flo, when she acts, she changes her hairdos and stuff like that. So she has like regular gigs. I know she was on a recurring character on the Goldbergs for quite a while.
Really?
So it didn't really hurt her because she points out like she's got a very specific look for progressive, but then when she goes for auditions, her hair is different and nobody just looks at her like, no, you're Flo. So
interesting. Yeah, I wonder who do you think like would be the all-time most recognizable like commercial character?
I mean, it depends because it was like if you go back to the 80s, we're talking about like Max Headroom and Spuds McKenzie, and that's not a real person and a dog. So.
We're killing our demographic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the Was Up guy, Scott Martin Brooks. That's another one.
Oh, duh. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think in my head too. I would the Geico Caveman, but like I guess that's a good one because you're in so many prosthetics.
Nobody really knows it.
But there's that Mayhem guy. He he does like all the Law and Orders and stuff like that. Yeah, he did
Oz,
Rescue Me. He was in. I was just curious. Like I mean, you were a big TV star.
I had an appearance on Discovery ID. Yes, I did.
Now, after you played a lawyer, correct?
That is correct. It was basically I was going to just be in the jury. This was set up by a former guest, Melissa Allen, who was a part of the Ghost cast and kind of famous for allegedly dying. But I digress. No, it doesn't count, Scott. As you knew me. But in any case, like I guess she knew like people who do commercials and stuff like that and TV stuff. So she's like, "Oh, if you're interested, you can do this." I'm like, "Okay." And then she contacted me later. She's like, "You got a suit?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got a suit." She's like, "All right, if you got a suit, come on down because they need somebody for that." So I was just kind of sitting next to her. They had me try to ad lib a line, but like it didn't work. Like it didn't make the show.
Can you imagine the poor person on death row or whatever, and Michael Berlew comes to represent you?
Your Honor, I object. There is no Sunham in this courtroom whatsoever. It is so dearly close to Easter, and my client here is starving.
Now you have a Southern Alabama accent? What is going on with you?
Well, I'm getting into character. I have to save my client.
I can picture them being like ad lib a line, and you're like, it's like my client is innocent. Do you remember what you tried to ad lib?
They had the person who was playing like the woman who killed her husband. They put her on the stand and they said ad lib a question and
are you a good boy?
It wasn't anything great. It was something like do you know where you're at on a date, or it was something like what was your relationship with the blah blah. So
ad lib a question. Your Honor, I would like to prosecute and defend the bailiff in this jurisdiction. What do you plead not guilty?
If they said ad lib, I should have just been like, I should have pulled out a gun and be like, I'm saving my client. You can't have her. Let's go, honey.
I'm a man of the law.
Shut up. I'm saving you.
I'm a man of the law, and Hooked on Phonics worked for me.
I never went to Space-Hab once in my life, Your Honor. You can trust me.
You know, I guess the only advantage of Space-Hab would be that the drug addicts really couldn't score in space. So there is, imagine being so down on your luck and desperate. You're like, shoot me to space so I can get off this junk. Like that's how you know a real drug addict, if they could figure out a way to score in space. Like, if like
if I get that asteroid and grind it up and put it in my veins, I'm sure I can get high off of that.
I'm pretty sure the guy who I did the bathroom with that pretty much died in my house from an overdose, he would find a way to score in space.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. And then I'd finally be like, that's one on you, Scott. That wasn't me. I didn't know you're meth bathroom fixer.
Speaking of dead guys, I did a show recently. I had a gig and it was in Freehold, New Jersey, and it was like in a barn, and like not. I was thinking like a barn, but it was like one of those fancy like wedding venue kind of barns. Really nice, really nice spot. And it was it was a fundraiser for a scuba group that takes like veterans. And they learn how to scuba dive and stuff like that. Now, my first thought is like you're taking people who've been to war and things like that, and then shoving them under the sea with like scary things and sharks and things like that. It's almost like a Space-Hab kind of plan to me.
Yeah, like my first thought is it something like some schools have like a special time of year where you sign up for a special gym class, like some kids. Like if you're in line in time, 8 people can do archery, 8 people can do badminton. Were these the vets that came in late and they're like, oh, sorry, the only thing we can give you is scuba diving lessons.
That was my first thought too. Like, wow, okay, if I have PTSD, the last thing I want to do is go into the deep ocean where there's like creepy things and like, I don't know, who knows, Italian men in Speedos swimming around. There's awful things in the ocean. It's funny, the older I get, the more afraid of the ocean I'm getting.
Really?
And I love the beach. Like I don't love the sun. So I like the beach in small portions. Like if we go for like 2 hours, I like that. But like, I'm not liking the thought of the ocean at night anymore kind of creeps me out. Like, I don't know, swimming around. Like I saw a preview the other day for some movie that's coming out about some divers that are stranded down all the way down. Like all the lights go off and there's a guy down at the bottom of the ocean. And like, I was like, nope, not for me. Like I'm just not watching that. Like the anxiety in the preview, I was starting to get it. I don't know. Like something about the ocean as I'm getting older, I'm getting a little weirder towards it.
Did your janitor friend take you there? Is that
Jesus Christ? No, I didn't get molested by a janitor at the ocean.
I mean, or
under the sea. He didn't swim under the sea and molest me.
All right, I'm trying to get to the real answer, Scott. That's why I throw these out here sometimes, just to get you better.
God. First, you make games that I have no chance in. Then you give false accusations that it was molested by a janitor. Like, see what I mean about the show turning it against me? You're ruining my life.
I mean, I feel I'm gaining and adding to it, Scott. I mean, think of it this way. A couple weeks ago, my hot water heater blew up. Yeah. If I have sandbags in my garage, I could have threw it on the floor and be like, Scott, I know you hate like going to the beach outdoors either at night or during the day when it's sunny. Come to my house, go in my garage, and enjoy your personal warm ocean with sand.
You make me a custom Georgian garage ocean is what
Yeah, we'll have sun ham for lunch and we'll make it a day.
What has happened to our podcast?
I don't know. We went in a lot of directions today. I don't even know how we wheel it back for next week.
What has happened to us over the years? Like, is it just us going like crazy over the years and doing this like 500 times that like we just spiral into talking about sun ham and things like that? I was like trying to tell a story at the beginning of the show. We got lost. I'm trying to tell a story now. We're completely off the rails. Like, what has happened to us?
Well, it's kind of funny. Like, I went to a podcast group last night, and like one of the questions they asked, like I said, yeah, we've been doing it for 11 years. I told it about the whole setup. They're like, how do you think of what to talk about, like during your banter and all? Like, what sets it up? I just say we're just a very weird show. It just naturally finds a way. You know, I can't explain how we get there.
And I can't say it's good, but we get there.
We do get there, exactly.
Okay. Let me re-listen. And it's not the beach. I love the beach, and I love the ocean. I love swimming in the ocean, but something about the deep ocean starting to get me. I follow this one Instagram account. It's called like, I think it's called like Mega Scary Boats or something like that. And it's just like, oh, these like oil tankers and work guys that work out in the middle of the ocean, and they turn the lights off, and you just see nothing for miles and stuff like that, and all this heavy machinery and guys like hanging over the edge, like something about it. I get the heebie-jeebies about, Anyway, heebie-jeebies. Who says that? Anyway,
Our audience.
yeah. I love that we talk about our demographic, and then we're bringing up Max Headroom.
All the people love Max.
Yeah.
Come on, Scotty.
So anyway, I go to the show. Beautiful venue, huge crowd, maybe like 150 there. I don't know, 125. Nice packed crowd. Setup is like a little weird, but I'm like excited for the show. There's energy in the room, like nice big crowd. Pay was pretty good or whatever. So like we're getting ready for the show, and the lights are still all on. And usually like when I run a show and like you start to segue towards the show starting, like put the lights down for a little while and let people talk, like, but they start to know there's little cues that the show is going to start,
Yeah, little pokes like, hey, it's coming, get ready.
Like sometimes if I do it at a restaurant, like if I was doing Tap House, which I did for years, and hopefully it'll come back soon, I would just start telling the waitresses and waiters like, hey, we're going to start in like 5 minutes. So maybe like ask people, tell them that as you're going to the tables. And I would start changing the music that I was playing, like more like hyped up music, like the energy, start building the energy a little bit. You're not playing like scenes from an Italian restaurant by Billy Joel. You start to put on like James Brown and things that are fun, like at least that's what I do. And I thought it always kind of worked, but I'm starting to notice like, they're like, okay, we're going to go, and you're up first. And I'm like walking down, the lights are still up. I'm like and there's nowhere to stand. I'm like kind of standing almost in the middle of the crowd, really. Like, okay. So, it's just a 2-man show. Okay. So a 2-man show there's a slight more amount of pressure on you than just being the host, because I'm the host and the feature. So like I have to do like a little bit of double duty, like warm the crowd up, and then do my like 20 minutes. So, and then also introing the headliner. And there's a little work with that too. Like if the crowd gets up and going to the bathroom and stuff like that, you want to do some time. So the headliner comes up and has a clean slate, a nice clean slate to work with. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so they go up. They're like, okay, well, let's call her Carol. I don't know. Carol's going to go up, and she's going to say a little something beforehand and then bring you right up. I'm like, perfect. And usually a little something beforehand means like, hey, guys, thanks everybody for coming. We got a great show for you tonight. Whatever. We raised a couple $1,000. Woo, clap it up. And, you guys ready for a show, and, keep the table talk to a minimum, enjoy the night. And a lot of these fundraisers like, we're doing a tricky tray after or something like that, whatever.
Yeah.
Girl goes up. She's like, she starts doing exactly that. Like, hey, hey, everybody, thank you for coming out. I'm like, okay, we're golden. And she's like talking a little bit, and she's going a little long-winded. I'm like, okay, come on, bring me up. And she's like, thank you for the scuba. Warhorse Scuba and they're a really great organization. Once I learned about them, and in fact, that was going to be my thing to promote at the end of the night. I'll just do it now. Apparently it is a very good PTSD thing. Like, it's very calming for people and kind of therapeutic and stuff like that. So that's Warhorse Scuba. I think they're based out in New Jersey, but I think they have several locations. So that is my promo for the night. But, so I'm like, okay. And then she's like, well, now I'm going to turn the mic over to, let's call her Jessica. Okay.
Oh,
Jessica starts reading a thing about Warhorse Scuba, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, this is a veteran run company, veteran things. They're talking about veterans. I'm like, Now, meanwhile, light's still on, and Scott is still like, I don't know if I ever told you, I always had this complex that I'm always in the way. You might have this too. You're a tall guy, like in crowded spaces, like I just feel in the way. Now I'm standing in the room while people are listening to this. Okay. And kind of like, I'm a big guy. So like, I'm like, just feel like I'm blocking people. And meanwhile, I'm the comic that's going on like in 2 minutes.
They don't know who you are right now either.
Exactly. Yeah. Some big ginger douche is standing in their way, basically.
They're like screaming at you, hey, I want to learn more about scuba.
So she goes, veterans, we live I'm a veteran. I'm a military wife. We know all this. And I'm like, we know how life is. And everyone's like, yeah. And then she's like, this organization really works with people who have lost people and have people who are soldiers don't come home. And I'm like, oh boy. Okay, like we were getting ready for the comedy show. Now we're starting to slowly dip into. Yeah. Now there's nothing wrong with this, okay, but it's the timing of this that they're doing this. Yeah. And she literally goes, blah 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 blah, talking about the veterans, and she goes, I would like everybody to take a look at the back table. I'm like, oh no. I look at the back table. It's empty, but it's completely set. There's people about to sit there. She goes, and there's the empty table that symbolizes all the soldiers who perished and did not come home. And then I'm like, oh God. I look at Joe, who's the headliner. I'm like, oh boy. And then she's like, the napkin represents the blood pour, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, the lemon on the glass represents the blah, blah, blah. There's a pinch of salt. It's the good luck thing for them not coming home to their families and things like just, oh my God, like squashing the mood down. Like, okay. And I'm like, oh boy. So this is like 3 minutes straight of her talking about the table for the people who are perished.
Somebody ran over the puppy before the birthday party, basically, right now.
Then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go up. And then she goes, before we start, I would like to do a minute of silence. So there I am, still standing. Nobody else is standing. And everybody stands up and does like the moment of silence, like head bow. And now let me tell you, like a minute when you're about to jump on stage and try to bring energy, I would like you to just think about how long 60 seconds is, like of silence. Like, okay, that was 10 seconds and that felt pretty awkward, right? Yeah. So 60 seconds of this goes by and she's like, all right, thank you. Everybody can sit down. And then she goes, all right, the show's going to start now. I'm going to bring up Scott. No Scott Brennan. No, there's a little thing in comedy. He tours all over. He plays the club. He does this. He's a host of the Verbal Shenanigans podcast. I'm going to bring up Scott. No last name. Nothing. Here's Scott.
And not even the preface, okay, we have comedians here, so we're going to lighten the mood. Nothing that says,
absolutely nothing.
Hey, we're down right now, but we're going to bring things up a bit. It's just cold case, get up here. Yep. You're a professional. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. So I go up and like, I had to acknowledge the elephant in the room. I was just like, whoo, boy, like that is a hard thing to follow. Like, it's like, I think I literally said, I wish I was one of those guys and not on stage right now. And it got a pretty good laugh. I'm like, all right, come on, people, come on. And it took 2-3 minutes to get the crowd like reset and stuff like that. But it did turn out to be a very good set. One of the better sets I've had in a long time. But
let's stare at the empty table. That empty table represents most of my comedy shows.
Yeah. That's my crowd usually.
The little lemon is where I tell my dick jokes too.
When the room's empty, I just say I'm performing for veterans who can't be here. So I'm actually I'm doing this for charity.
I'm always in front of a crowd, if you know what I mean, because there's so many veterans that's been lost. So.
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing charity. You guys are just filling. You're being selfish, actually coming to the show and taking a seat from them.
Exactly. And the only thing that'd been better is if like you got nervous And you're like, I gotta sit down for a minute, and then the spotlight came on to you as they're trying to introduce the veterans that are
Or what if I was, tired of standing and feeling like I was in the way, and I sat down at the empty table, and then they're like, look back there at the empty table, and it's me sitting there.
The giant ginger represents the sorrow we're all going through with the veterans that we have lost. And now comedy.
Yeah. But for a couple minutes there, I'm going, oh my God. I've done comedy for two people. I've done comedy in a vapor room. I've bombed everywhere. I'm not going up. I'm not going up. And then I was like, well, got to do the job. But but yeah, I think that's it, Mike. I think we've covered all our bases tonight. We learned a lot today.
None of it useful, but we did learn a lot.
Mike gave you a brand new recipe. You've had very progressive treatments for people going through addiction. So, Mike, if you want to hand your email out to people who are going through the struggle and how they could hook up with you,
verbal shenanigans podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Send all your complaints over to there, and I'm sure I'll be the one reading them.
Yeah. We've learned that maybe we shouldn't invite people here on the show anymore because it just ends up backfiring pretty hard here. But let's just say I'm getting ready for Halloween. I'm getting ready for Halloween. Now, Berlo, did you, real quick before we go, we've been teasing this for a while. We've been teasing a Halloween episode now since January-ish,
I can't wait till it comes and we're like, yeah, we got tired. And it goes out like November 14th.
or I'm just like, I didn't have time to come up with a game this week. So let's talk about
tonight on the show is Max Headroom.
Yeah, let's talk about horror movies. Bro, have you had a chance to watch Nosferatu yet?
I have not seen the whole thing. I've seen clips and all. It's been a weird couple of months and all, but I do know what I'm up against and what I have to train for. So it's not like a total shock when I turn on Peacock one day. I'm like, what?
Well, it's not even that. The accent is truly amazing, but I'm just like, as a horror fan, I do want to get your take on the movie and see what you thought about it. Because I thought it was great. But anyway, long story short, we somewhere along the way we talked about Nosferatu. I don't know how that actually generated, but I will tell you, I'm teasing an episode. What month is it? April. So
May, June, July, August,
6 months from now.
6 months, half a year. You just wait. We know we are going to accommodate all your needs with that episode. I guarantee you.
Nosferatu will be entering the Shenanigans verse, the lore of the show in some way or somehow. But Berlo, anything to promote before we go?
I will promote History Isn't Boring, Your Teacher Was, the book by our friend KP Burke, who was a guest on the show a long time ago. He did the American Loser podcast for a while, and he wrote a book about all the interesting things he's talked about on his podcast with like weird, interesting tidbits about general things in history. He's an amazing comedian. It's an amazing book. It's on Amazon. Check out History Isn't Boring, Your Teacher Was.
You know what? I'll segue that real quick to the second promotion here. KP Burke, who Mike just mentioned, is headlining a show I'm running here on May 9th in Denville. KP Burke at the Indian Lake Comedy Show. You can come if you contact me. So just let me know. It's a great show and it's a really fun time.
I'll bring the Sunham.
Real quick, I know I've done real quick a couple times. I was thinking today of some of the guests that have been on the show that I just have seen explode since like over the couple of years. KP Burke, I remember him talking about the podcast he wanted to do. That thing's exploded. But then I was thinking like Raina Roberts, when we interviewed her, went on to be in a Beyonce video. Chris Van Vliet, bringing it back to wrestling, is pretty much like the guy in the wrestling universe now for podcasts and stuff like that.
David Howard Thornton, we got him early on in the Terrifiers, and now it's like the most grossing horror movie independent of all time. Is amazing.
And I wanted to mention Morgan J, comedian, is all of a sudden has like a Hulu special, and he's just like selling out everywhere, touring all over the place. So it is pretty cool to see. So, but yet we're still stuck here doing this. So
yeah, those 4 took off, and by took off, I mean there is no way we're getting them back on the show. Just like FYI.
But took off. They could also maybe get the 4 of them into a space capsule, and they could. We'll see what.
But I mean, I guess one of them might have like problems and all. It doesn't have to be like drugs and all. Maybe it's like an addiction to like.
Goodbye, guys. Thanks for listening. Subscribing. Newsletter will be back out this week. Other than that, guys, life is funny. Laugh at it. Keep the wind at your back.
And this is Patti LaBelle saying good night, everybody.
Oh, Grandma. Kitties.